Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. My fiancé lied and cheated on me. I just learned he has a baby with an ex. Throwy. Marcus, male 45, and I, female 36, have been together for 6 years. We've never had a fight or major argument in our whole relationship. We're both divorced, and he has a 23-year-old kid from his previous marriage. I don't know much about his ex-wife other than she remarried and was the one who filed for divorce. I know that losing his marriage was a major emotional blow for him, but he's moved on. Both of us are engineers. We have a comfortable lifestyle, important to the story. He's always been extremely supportive of my goals and happy of my accomplishments, which I've always found tremendously encouraging in a long-term relationship. We were engaged last year, but haven't set a date because I want a family reunion and the logistics are a pain. Plus, we need to make sure we produce a very COVID-safe celebration. He's revealed some details about his ex-girlfriends. They'd all abandoned him, which I always thought odd, given that he's intelligent, chivalrous, and incredibly gorgeous. So I simply assumed he was some kind of life gift that had been waiting for me. There's so much going on in my scenario that I'm not sure where to begin. We traveled, gone dancing, had a lot of fun, and done things that made me believe we had a strong emotional connection. Until 4 months ago, everything was just gorgeous and seemed to be transparent. Then he went on a business trip and didn't phone or text me much throughout his stay. That's strange since we constantly communicate even when we're physically apart, and it was never to check in on each other, but to exchange information, make comments, and so on. He returned behaving strangely. He was still affectionate, but he was quieter. He also became quite protective of his phone. I looked around to see what was going on, but I couldn't find anything. He went on another business trip, but this time he nearly called another woman's name during instead of mine. For instance, if her name is Betsy, he might say Bet. After that, he rectified himself. I panicked about the prospect of having an affair with a colleague. I scoured his Facebook and other social media accounts but found nothing. Last September, I hacked into his emails, I know it's bad, using his tablet, which he never uses. I discovered years' worth of emails from Betsy. This issue with her has entirely taken me by surprise. He just mentioned her name as an ex a few years back, but he was so casual about it that I didn't think it was significant. I'm at a loss as to what to do with this knowledge. They dated many years ago, and she now despises him. Their emails are horrific, from her pleading with him to stop treating her so badly to him berating her, being jealous and accusing her of cheating, insulting her, hinting that she was inferior, or comparing her to his past exes. In one of her letters, she accused him of being the worst guy she'd ever encountered, saying she'd never loved someone so deeply only to be so cruelly injured, and that she'd never forgive him. The emails went unanswered for months, and then he wrote to her, pleading with her to unblock him since he can't even text her anymore. Then he sends another message saying he just learned out she's pregnant, that he saw her, and that she looks stunning. He begged her to meet him for months. He also pleaded with her to have a family, to allow him pay for the baby's bills, and to let him touch her tummy. His messages were all received with hostility. I searched her up and discovered her. She had a daughter, and the child resembles him and his son. She never treats him kindly, except for the one occasion she sent him a photo willingly. He's really forceful, telling her that he wants to see his kid, and that she should please tell her that he's her father. They apparently didn't realize she was pregnant when they split up, and their split was caused by some form of unkindness on his part. He could have knowledge about her since he said someone informed him she was in the hospital and that she requested him to go as soon as he arrived. He apologized for causing her distress. The daughter is probably about the age of 8. In September, Betsy sent him an apology for sleeping with him. She said that it was out of character for her and that she should not have done it. He said that he would do everything for a second chance and that he would give up his current life in an instant to be with his family. He said he'd marry her, that he loves me, and that he'd say beautiful things about me, but that he faced the consequences. He claims that his objective is never to harm me, but that he is unhappy without her, and that he can't even concentrate on me when having because she enters his head. He's been pleading with this lady for forgiveness for years, but she despises him. Betsy often chastises him for his classism, and he claims he would cheerfully live a humble life and forgo his upper-class lifestyle if it meant he could reclaim his family. I'm not sure what to do. I despise the concept of a child growing up unaware that her father loves her. I adore him, but I want a guy who recognizes me as the love of his life. Nonetheless, I'm frozen since losing him would be unbearably painful. The realization that he cheated is devastating, particularly the emotional adultery. This is consuming him. He comes out of the shower looking like he's been sobbing and has frequent zone-out moments. Also, I'm not sure how I feel about Betsy. I'm making an effort to be sensible. I'm not sure what occurred or why she refers to him as a damaged person. I did considerable research on her and discovered she has a business and seems to be prosperous. This corresponds with their acrimonious emails to one another, as well as how she continues telling him she doesn't want his money and to shove it up his. I know he's bad for lying, and I'm not sure why he withheld this information from me. It's a big secret, and it's a deal breaker. I overheard texts between him and his closest buddy, who lives in the same neighborhood as Betsy, in which he freely said that he loves his kid and has set up an account for her in the hopes of contributing financially. I feel completely deceived. His buddy has been encouraging him that if he can't love me sufficiently, he should let me go and attempt to face losing Betsy for good, or he could simply get closer and get a foot in the door to her heart. I'm not sure what led to them sleeping together, but she's already informed him that it doesn't matter. I'm at a loss for what to do since he's been eating less and seems to be sad. It's not an option to tell him I've been spying. I truly need some guidance on how to deal with this. Thanks. Update. Thank you for your wise suggestions, everyone. My sister will take me in and house me till I find a place to live. Hopefully, I'll be able to go as far as possible so that I won't have to see him again or find out if he ever moves onto his ex or someone else. I'm so badly upset that I've lost trust in relationships. This relationship took away so much sorrow from my past, just to return it tenfold. With excellent intentions, I met him and dated him. I didn't cheat on anybody or have him cheat on anyone in order to be with him. I followed every step of the process just as he requested. I'm departing empty-handed since all my love wasn't enough in the end. He said he may need to travel on a business trip that would last a few days. I invited him to accompany me, and he seemed really uneasy. I said that I'm adaptable, but he stated that it would be tedious. I confronted him. He wasn't sure what type of business trip included traveling on a weekend, but he stated it was decided by the customer. I discovered a note from his closest buddy, who invited him to come visit and stay with us in order to get away and clear his thoughts. I packed all of my belongings and personal possessions, but I don't want anything to do with the furniture or anything else I purchased that could bring back memories. My 4 dogs are with me, so I'm well on that front. My ring and all the written texts remained on the counter. He phoned me after he returned from his workplace, but I couldn't speak without weeping. He apologized for hurting me, as if that would solve the problem. He said that he never intended to injure me and that the only positive that came out of this was that he was relieved of a burden since he despises lying. We're not going to speak anymore. My sister got me a lawyer that can assist me in resolving my issues, lease, investments, a joint account. We have separate finances elsewhere, and based on what I heard from him during our talk, he will not attempt to hang on to anything and will let me enjoy the majority of the money in the account while paying the lease on his own. He seems to be paying to stop the connection. Some of his family members have phoned, but I refuse to speak with them. I'm embarrassed, and I'm not sure whether they were aware of this and just smiled at me. He seemed concerned that I had discovered the truth, but he never offered to make things right. He has lost all interest in sex, continues to lose weight, and seems to be absent-minded. When I mentioned the wedding to him the other day, he gave me a half smile, and he just destroyed my heart. I was there for him 100% of the time, dedicated my heart and soul to him, and made him number one. When I asked him what he was thinking and whether he ever feared I would find out, he shielded his kid from me and couldn't give me an answer. He just sobbed and admitted to love his ex. It was both offensive and insulting. He added that at least I'm now free, as opposed to him, who loves someone and would never stop loving her, even though he will never have her. My sister called him and yelled at him, but I don't believe it mattered to him. I'm at a loss as to how to recover from this. I blocked him everywhere, and all I want to do is sleep. I can't appreciate anything, even eating. I did contact his closest buddy and told him what was on my mind. That guy would come to my home, stay, eat my food, hang out with us, and treat us like family while assisting my ex-fiancé in cheating. I'm at a loss for words as to how to deal with being deceived on all fronts. Please accept my apologies if this seems to be rambling.